Hey guys, it's Leslie of Leslie Writes It All, wishing you a happy 2021. Let's start off the year with a little simple watercolor painting project. So all I'm going to be using today is Strathmore's watercolor paper journal. You can use any kind of watercolor paper if you have it on hand. And then I'll be using some green painter's tape. You can really get any kind of tape that is going to be adhesive but not stick to your paper. So I found the best success with washi tapes and painter's tape. I'm not sure if Scotch tape or masking tape will work because I have found that they tear the paper, but some people have said that masking tape can work. So just experiment before you start painting on it, so you don't want to be disappointed when it rips your paper. So I'll be doing a rainbow gradient. I kind of try to do it following like a Roy G. Biv type order. So I'm going to start with like pinks and reds, and then we're going to go down the color scale. But we're just using some really simple leaf shapes. If you refer to another project that I did, that writes the word home using leaves, it's just basically using your brush to create kind of a rounded leaf shape that comes to a tip. So you can draw little tiny stems and then flatten out your brush to get that nice leaf shape. So as I'm painting, I'm just kind of filling in the space. Make sure to kind of vary the directionality of your leaves. Right now they're kind of all leaning to the right, so I'll probably start switching it up in a little bit, just to give it some visual interest and variety in your painting. Yeah, so you're just gonna blend the colors as you go, make it a little gradual. So I have pinks going into oranges, and now we're fading into a yellow. And here I am just painting a light green leaf that's facing directly upward. So just keep playing with it and adding and building until we get kind of a full picture. And I forgot to mention, I am using Winsor & Newton watercolor paints. They're professional grade. They're slightly more expensive than other paints, but I do really love the vibrant colors, and a tiny tube does last you a really long time. So if you are really serious about watercolor painting, I suggest investing. It's really changed the game in terms of getting the colors that I want on the page. So I created my own palette. If you are interested in the colors that I'm using, I'm going to go ahead and create a post shortly about my palette. So keep your eyes peeled for that. So I'm also using a Princeton Velvet Touch watercolor brush in size round 4. I find that round brushes actually give you the most versatility. So as you can see, I'm able to paint really fine lines for the stems of the leaf. But once you press down on your brush, you can get the like fatter, wider parts that create the actual body of the leaf. So I think round brushes are a great investment as well. And then now you can see I'm flipping the page over to just continue the color gradient going the opposite direction. So it kind of just flanks it on both sides of the washi or the painter's tape. So I probably didn't plan this as well as I wanted to. I probably could have extended the warmer colors more on the bottom, but it looks like I got to the blues sooner than I'd like. So I'm gonna start blending a little bit more with the purples and kind of stretch out the bottom so that we're not reusing the same colors on the bottom there. So I'm just having a little bit more blues than I'd like, but next time if you want, you can go ahead and plan out ahead of time what kind of colors you want to use along the gradient. And now once you understand what we're kind of doing, I'm going to speed up the video a little bit and get the rest of these leaves painted. And as we add the final touches, I just wanted to say that I did want to create a piece that was going to bring some optimism and hope into the new year. 2020 was a very interesting year. It was the year my daughter was born, but just a lot has happened in that year. So just a fun, happy piece to welcome the new year in. And normally I prefer to let my paint naturally dry. I think the slow evaporation of the water just kind of leaves a more predictable like distribution of paint. And if you use something like a heating tool, then it kind of pushes the water around and you might get areas with more paint. That's just my preference, but now that I have an infant at home who is extremely mobile, I'm going to be using a heat gun to kind of set this a little faster. I also normally wait until the paint completely dries before peeling the tape because it is risky. You risk smudging it. So I did this a little bit backwards. So be careful when you're doing this if you're doing it out of order like I did. And you'll notice a little bit of areas where the pigmentation pools. That's from using a heat gun, but that's okay. Now I'm going to use a gel pen to add a few little gold details just to keep it a little fun and whimsical. Okay, so now you have a cute little title page if you want to write the month or anything else in there, especially if you're bullet journaling or any type of journaling actually. But what I'm gonna do is use a brush pen. Here I'm using a Tombow, I think it's a soft tip. Yeah, I'm using a soft tip Fudenosuke brush pen to go ahead and letter some mantras to live by. So I'm gonna write New Year, New Joys. And I apologize for not filming this next part, but I'm not freehanding here. Sometimes I do, but not in this case. What I used was a scrap sheet of paper right over the painting so that I could plan out the spacing and what I was gonna write. Then I used a pencil to write it in, and I just traced it over with the pen. And there you have it, a super colorful, really easy to do title page. Let me know if this is something you're going to be working on. I'd love to see what you're doing, so tag me on Instagram at Leslie Writes It All.